I've been working on the mystery of the classic square minifig head. A lot of collectors of old minifigs have long known about this variation in minifig heads. On the right is the classic smiley from 1978, the first minifigs. Nice bold eyes and mouth. On the left is the square head version. If you put them next to each other, you can really see the difference. The square head is much more cylindrical in shape. The edges are not as rounded as in the other head. Now, if you go to Bricklink, they will tell you that this square head is the earliest version. Bricklink is wrong. It's often wrong on these early parts. They, for a long time, you weren't even allowed to include these solid stud heads in the inventories of classic minifigs. The inventory policy was that you had to use the wrong head on minifigures of this era. So the lesson there is don't trust Bricklink. Don't even trust me, but I'm going to give you some evidence as to what I've discovered about these heads. I went back through some catalogs and found some images, and the earliest I can find these square heads depicted is in 1989. Here's a Legoland catalog from that era. The year the Pirates line was introduced. There's a pirate captain. Check out that jawline. Nice square head on that pirate. Now, 1989 is the first year that Lego introduced heads other than the classic smiley. If we look here also on the same page, there's a female head. Kind of hard to see here, but the figurehead on the ship there has bangs and lipstick. They were introduced in the Pirates. The Forestman line had some of these printed heads, and that is when the square head showed up. So for example, here's an early pirate head, nice and square. Now, however, you will also find rounded ones with the same print. Now, one of two things happened, I think. However, I believe that the cylindrical heads are tied to the expanded printing on the heads. Because as you see on this one, also with the pirate captain that has a full red beard, and the female head that has bangs, the printing goes right up to the top edge of the head. And there's a bit of a difference when you look at the printing on the square head versus the round head. It becomes rounded off on the round head. It's nice and clear on the squared head. My thinking is that when Lego decided to expand the printing on the faces, it redesigned the head to give a more cylindrical and a flatter surface on which to print. And I believe that began in 1989, which is when we first see these square heads. Now, we also see these rounded heads with the solid stud. By 1992, the solid stud was gone, and we had the open stud. So this printed head, the rounded printed head, is from sometime between 1989 and 1992, roughly. Whether it's before the square head or after the square head, difficult to say. I would guess it's before. At any rate, by 1992, the design of the head had changed, had an open stud, and although I never say never, I have never found a square head with an open stud. So I believe that these square heads first appeared in 1989. They were redesigned to accommodate a larger printing area, and I believe they were around until 1992. So this is not the earliest version. It's a version, an intermediate version, toward the end of the solid stud head period, and was generally between 1989 and 1992. If you have any other ideas or evidence, please leave me a comment. Thanks.